What's up, everyone? Lance and Lauren here with the Living in Sacramento team. And man, do we have a cold one. Do we have a fun one for you guys today? Today, we're going to be covering the top 7 suburbs that you guys requested in 2023. We're going to go from the least requested to the most requested in 2023.
Now, the least requested might not have been something that somebody initially reached out to us about, but through conversation, they actually found out about a different area that they really like. So those are on our list too. Now, make sure you're subscribed to our channel because we are going to be doing more in-depth videos on each of these suburbs, giving you all of the information, not just the high-level overview that we're going to share with you today.
Now, remember that this isn't our top 7 list of popular suburbs in the greater Sacramento area. Now, these are the suburbs that you guys had requested in 2023. So we're going to take you around. We're going to show you a little bit about each one of these towns, and we're going to bounce around to each one of these areas. So let's get to it.
All right, so the first suburb we're going to talk about today is going to be El Dorado Hills. Now, El Dorado Hills is located about 35 to 40 minutes east of Sacramento along Highway 50 between Folsom and Cameron Park. Now, El Dorado Hills is one of those places that not a lot of people know about. Now, when people first come to our channel, one of the main places they're thinking about is Folsom. We've got a ton of clients that have come out, we've shown them Folsom, they thought that was going to be the place for them, and then we tell them a little bit about El Dorado Hills. Now, why are some of our clients looking into El Dorado Hills? Now, let me tell you a little bit of backstory. So, when a lot of our people are reaching out to us, they don't necessarily know about El Dorado Hills just yet. Now, through conversation, a lot of times they'll be telling us, oh, we really like Folsom. Folsom's definitely going to be the place for us. And then we'll have a conversation about what's important to you. What are some of the must-haves for you? Maybe it's a little bit larger of a lot. Maybe it's a smaller town kind of community feel. And so through conversation, we'll start talking. And a lot of times what actually comes up is El Dorado Hills. We'll tell them about how it's similar to Folsom. It's close to Folsom, has great rated schools, has a lot of great things to offer, also has that small town community kind of vibe and feel, and it has a lot of its own amenities here as well, but you're also super close to Folsom when it comes to shopping or going to the Palladio or going to one of the many restaurants in Folsom. Now, once we start talking about El Dorado Hills to these clients and they realize their money goes a little bit further in El Dorado Hills versus Folsom, you can get a little bit larger of a house for more bang for your buck compared to Folsom. You can also find homes that sit on larger lots. There's also gated communities here as well. So El Dorado Hills really has a lot to offer, and it's one of those things that as we start telling clients about it, they actually end up opening up to the idea. And then once we get out here and we'll show them Folsom, we'll show them El Dorado Hills, we'll show them how far their money can go. And a lot of times, El Dorado Hills actually ends up edging out Folsom for a lot of our clients. One of the main things that our clients have loved about El Dorado Hills is how much space you can get out here. Another reason why a lot of people like El Dorado Hills, and then maybe they're thinking Folsom, is that this place also has amazing schools. You have a highly rated high school here with Oak Ridge High School, which offers a ton of great programs. We're gonna be doing more videos, more in depth on each of these suburbs that we're talking about in the future. So we'll cover more of those topics later. But just know that El Dorado Hills has you covered with great schools as well, which is something that's been super important for a lot of our clients relocating to the area. All right, now let's talk about one pro and one con for El Dorado Hills. So the pro for El Dorado Hills for me is definitely going to be the outdoor, healthy, active lifestyle that you can have here. So El Dorado Hills has its own main entrance into Folsom Lake. So if you like to go boating during the summer or go fishing or hang out by the lake, you do have that easy access there to Folsom Lake. We're also super close to South Lake Tahoe. You can hop on 50, you can head up towards South Lake Tahoe. So, you've got the lake up there in the summertime. You've also got tons of amazing ski resorts up there. So you're kind of close in proximity to that. You also have a lot of outdoor recreational here right in El Dorado Hills. Like I said, you have Folsom Lake. You also have a ton of different hiking and walking and biking trails out here as well, just kind of amongst the gorgeous scenery. So El Dorado Hills definitely offers that active, outdoor, healthy lifestyle that a lot of people think they're gonna get in Folsom. Well, you can also get it here too. Now onto the con for El Dorado Hills. Now El Dorado Hills, for me, the con would be limited public transportation. So if you're someone who thinks, hey, I'm gonna move to El Dorado Hills, I'm gonna have to commute into Sacramento. Maybe you're thinking about taking the light rail system. Now El Dorado Hills doesn't have a stop for that. They do have a bus system, but it's a little bit more limited. So I would definitely say that limited public transportation up here is something you have to think about. Now, some people that affects them, some people work from home and it doesn't affect them. But that for me would be the #1 con to this area. All right, so third on our list of suburbs that you guys are reaching out to us for and about is going to be Granite Bay, California. Now, Granite Bay is located northeast of Sacramento off of Interstate 80 next to Roseville and is about a 30-minute drive from Sacramento. Now, one of the main reasons that people really love Granite Bay and one of the main reasons why we have clients reaching out to us about Granite Bay is gonna be the schools here. Now, Granite Bay has highly rated schools, some of the best in the state of California. The high school here is rated a 10 out of 10 overall on greatschools.org, as well as a 10 out of 10 for college readiness, a 10 out of 10 for test scores, and a 10 out of 10 for equity. Granite Bay is one of the main areas that people with families who want to get into a great public school are relocating here for. Now, on top of an awesome school, another reason why everyone loves Granite Bay is it's beautiful. So Granite Bay is known for its luxury homes, but it also just kind of feels different. There's this part of the parkway along Tree Lake Village where there's just gorgeous trees, and in the fall, the summer, and the spring, they're just absolutely beautiful. It definitely doesn't feel like you're anywhere in California. It just has a different feel. So one client we had that reached out to us from YouTube, originally they were thinking Folsom, then we showed them El Dorado Hills, and the last we showed them Granite Bay. Now, once we showed them the parkway in Granite Bay along Tree Lake Village, they absolutely fell in love with it, and they fell in love with the feel and the overall area. A lot of people also love that Granite Bay is super close to Folsom Lake, and you have kind of the boating and water sports scene here as well. Now, Granite Bay is definitely an area that a lot of people are reaching out to us for and are interested in it for those reasons. Now, let me give you a pro and a con to Granite Bay. Now, the pro to Granite Bay is definitely gonna be the proximity to Folsom Lake, the outdoor recreational lifestyle that you can live here. So if you like to go boating in the summer months or you wanna go out and hang out by the water, Folsom Lake actually has two entrances in from Granite Bay. You've got Beals Point, and you also have the Granite Bay main entrance where you can launch boats from. Now, both of these entrances have hiking trails for miles and miles and miles. They also have beach areas where you've got lifeguards on duty. So that's definitely a pro to Granite Bay in the summer months and in the winter months if you want to go out for a nice walk and have a beautiful scenery and kind of be out in nature and in those elements. Now, the negative or the one con to Granite Bay is definitely going to be the affordability. So with those super highly rated schools out here, it definitely drives up the cost. So in Granite Bay, your entry-level point for housing is going to cost you more than the same exact house that you'd find in Roseville or Lincoln or even Rockland. So definitely keep that in mind. Granite Bay is a little bit more expensive just because the area has definitely held its value over time, and those school districts just drive up prices with everybody kind of looking at greatschools.org, and people that don't know the area when they're looking to move, one of the first things they look for is they look at school ratings. And because these schools have highly great ratings, it drives up that price. So that's Granite Bay in a nutshell for you. We absolutely love this area. It's gorgeous. I have kids that go to these schools. They're great schools. Granite Bay definitely has a lot to offer. It has a different feel, and it's something that you just have to check out for yourself to see if it might be the right area for you.
All right, so the third city on our list, or I guess the fifth most requested city that you guys had for us in 2023 is gonna be where we're located at right now. It's gonna be Rockland, California. Now, we're located over here, over by Quarry Park. Usually it tends to be a really popular spot in the summertime. Not so popular right now because it is cold, it is windy out here. There is absolutely no kids on the playground, no one at the park. It is freezing, it is cold. You would think that we were in the Midwest right now dealing with some of those snowstorms, but man, it is freezing. So Rockland is gonna be located about 35 minutes east of Sacramento. It's gonna be bordered by Roseville, Granite Bay, Loomis. It's gonna be one of the last towns up Interstate 80 as you're going towards North Lake Tahoe, but like one of the last towns before you kind of start feeling that climb going into the Sierra Nevada foothills. So Loomis and Penryn and Newcastle are kind of going to be the start of that. But Rockland was one of the most fifth requested cities by you guys in 2023. The reason why a lot of people reached out to us about Rockland primarily is going to be because of the school district. So from elementary all the way up to the high school, you are going to have really highly rated schools in Rockland Unified School District. Now, the cool thing about Rockland is it doesn't really matter really what area of Rockland that you end up deciding that you want to live in. From the elementary, junior high, and the high school, you're going to be probably seeing 7, 8, 9s for the most part. Rockland has 2 high schools. They have Whitney High School, they have Rockland High School. Both of those are going to be rated 9 out of 10s based off of greatschools.org. And then you're going to have a handful of junior high, and a lot of different elementary schools depending on the location that you're at. Now with Rockland having really highly rated school districts, that tends to be one of the main motivating factors for a lot of families that move to this area. Now with that, it's also going to kind of keep the housing demand up a little bit higher than normal. So now I guess the con that I would like to highlight for Rockland would be the affordability here. Now, you know, if we're comparing numbers for the city of Rockland versus Sacramento City or Sacramento County, City of Rockland is going to have a higher entry point. It's going to have a higher cost of living here. And so that's going to be one of the main cons for people who are thinking about moving or relocating to the Rockland area is going to be the housing affordability. So stick around. We're going to be covering 4 more cities that you guys requested in 2023. And we're going to be giving you a high level overview and a pro and a con of each of those. All right, so our number 4 city on our list and where I'm located at right now is going to be Lincoln, California. Now, Lincoln, California was kind of a surprise to us because originally this wasn't the city that a lot of you guys were reaching out to us about. And then all of a sudden we did a couple of videos here and it was just one of those things where you guys just started to ask us more and more questions about it. So, you know, I'm down here, I'm kind of right next to the Lincoln Museum, right? So, you know, we've got, you know, the Lincoln Museum down here. We've got this super cool, like little area, really nice. It's one of those things where, you know, this city kept popping up for a lot of you guys in 2023. So, you know, you guys would reach out to us, ask us some questions about, you know, different areas. Usually it kind of started off with, you know, our top 3 cities that we're gonna talk to you about here in a little bit. But, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, Lincoln is one of my favorite places, and I think it ends up being one of your guys' favorite places as well too. So for the most part, Lincoln is going to be located probably 45 minutes to an hour away from downtown Sacramento. So it is going to be probably one of your furthest drives away from where you guys are, you know, coming into Sacramento International Airport, or if you're driving up here from the Bay Area, you're driving up from Southern California, it's probably going to be one of the furthest spots north as it relates to that. But Lincoln's awesome. Definitely got that small town vibe feel to it as well too. But, you know, super cool. You also got, like, I love, you've got the Beerman's building over there. Love it. You got the Beerman's building over there. Super cool. And you just got like this really cool little vibe. One of the pros for Lincoln out here that I would think is a pro for a lot of you guys is your dollar goes a little bit further in Lincoln than maybe some of the other areas that you guys reach out to us about on this channel. So dollar goes a little bit farther, a little bit more of a, like I said, a little bit more of a small town vibe, small town feel. You've got a lot of different cool events that happen on down here as well too. Now, con is going to be kind of what I just said, is proximity-wise to downtown Sacramento. So you like to go to downtown Sacramento for Kings games, you like to go out to restaurants or nightclubs or kind of that dance scene, things like that. It's going to be pretty far away. It's going to probably be about an hour. It's not going to be a very cheap Uber ride as it relates to that. So just one of those things to keep in mind if you're going to be moving to Lincoln. Now, that I would say would be a con, but you know, like we said on any of these other top areas that we're covering that you guys reached out to us in 2023 for, we are going to be doing a much more in-depth video about each one of these areas that we're covering today.
All right, so the 5th suburb on our list that a bunch of YouTube clients are reaching out to us about is definitely Roseville, California. I'm in downtown Roseville specifically. You can kind of see it behind me. There's a bunch of cool little restaurants and shops here. Now, first off, let's talk about where Roseville's located. Now, Roseville's located about 25 to 30 minutes northeast of Sacramento along Interstate 80. Now, Roseville's bordered by Rockland, Granite Bay, Citrus Heights, and Antelope. Now, Roseville is the 3rd largest city behind Sacramento, Sacramento being the largest. Then you've got Elk Grove at the 2nd largest, and then Roseville right behind that. Now, Roseville is growing like crazy, so it's no wonder that a ton of people are reaching out to us about Roseville. Let me tell you a little bit about a client that we had that actually reached out to us. They were contemplating 2 different areas. So one area they were thinking about was Rancho Cordova, because there's a ton of awesome new builds out there. It's a great community with a lot of really cool things happening and a lot of new growth out there. The other area that these clients were interested in was Roseville. So we took these people out, we showed them both areas, and actually Roseville ended up edging out Rancho Cordova. Now the reason for that is definitely the amenities that you can find out here in Roseville. So Roseville has everything that you need, and this particular family really didn't want to have to drive a ton of places to go shopping, and they wanted to be close to everything. So Roseville definitely has that for you, which is super awesome. Now the pro to Roseville is obviously amenities. You have everything you need here. We have the Roseville Galleria. Now there is another mall in the greater Sacramento area with mall down in Arden. This mall has over 280 stores. They have everything you need. They have boutique stores. They have your chain stores. Everything you need is right here in Roseville. They also have a ton of diversity when it comes to restaurants. So no matter what kind of food you like or what you're into, whether you like chain restaurants or you're looking for something that's locally owned, Roseville has that too. So definitely the pro to Roseville is everything you need is right here. You never have to leave this city. Besides that, you never have to leave Roseville to accomplish any of your errands or anything that you need to actually do. Now the con to Roseville is with all of this growth and with it being the third largest city behind Sacramento is definitely going to be how busy it is here and the traffic. So we're not crazy busy like maybe something in Southern California. It's not that kind of busy, but it is busier. So you are going to be dealing with longer wait times at restaurants. You are going to be dealing with traffic to get across Roseville, mainly because there's a ton of stoplights, so it can take a bit of time to get across the city. But that is something that you're going to deal with. But our traffic here, when it comes to the congestion and being busier, not like Southern California, our traffic does continue to move. So that's really, really nice. But overall, Roseville just has a ton of things to offer. It's no wonder a lot of people are reaching out to us about Roseville, California. Now, like we said earlier, we are going to be doing more in-depth videos on all of these suburbs that we're covering in this video in future videos. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're looking out for those other suburb videos that are going to be more in-depth as we cover those in the future weeks.
Now our sixth suburb on the list and the second to last suburb before we get to the number one suburb that you guys requested is going to be Elk Grove, California. Now up until this point, we have talked about cities and suburbs that are going to be primarily east of Sacramento or north of Sacramento, kind of towards Lincoln. But Elk Grove is going to be the first suburb that we're going to talk about that's actually going to be south of Sacramento. Now, Elk Grove is going to be the second largest city behind Sacramento as it relates to population and size. And it's going to be probably within about a 20-25 minute drive south of Sacramento. There are going to be two freeways that are going to run north and south from Sacramento down into Elk Grove. So you're going to have Interstate 99, which is going to be on the eastern side of Elk Grove, and you're going to have Interstate 5, which is going to be more on the western side of Elk Grove and the western side of Sacramento. It's going to kind of parallel the Sacramento River. Now, like we said before, this isn't a video of our top suburbs. These are the ones that you guys reached out to us the most about in 2023. So Elk Grove being the second most requested city that we've had you guys reach out to. Now, I think that there's a couple of reasons why Elk Grove tends to be one of the top cities that you guys reach out to us about. And the first one, like I said, proximity wise or location wise, it's going to be, about a 20-25 minute drive to downtown Sacramento. So it is going to be a little bit closer to going into Sacramento if you have to do that for work. It can be a little bit more convenient if you guys have to, work downtown at the Capitol, or you have to go in for anything like that. Now, one of the other pros is, I would say, for a lot of people who, still have a lot of family members down in the Bay Area, it is going to be one of the easier commutes to get back down into kind of the East Bay. So you can go south on Interstate 5 or 99. And then you can cut over to, like Danville, Pleasanton, Fremont area, and it's a little bit easier to get down. The traffic's going to be a little bit better as it relates to that as well too. Now, there's a lot of different pros and a lot of different cons, and we've covered them in the past on some of our other videos. And this year we are going to be doing a full updated high-level overview of each one of these cities that we're covering on the channel today. But one of the main pros that you guys like about Elk Grove is going to be the school district. So Elk Grove Unified School District, it's going to be one of the largest school districts in the greater Sacramento area. It's going to have some highly or top-rated schools throughout that school district. So you're going to have a lot of elementary schools, you're going to have a lot of junior high schools, and this city is going to probably have the most options as it relates to high schools. So if you have any questions about any of these schools, or Elk Grove is possibly on your list outside of Sacramento, go ahead and check out one of these videos right here. We are covering some of the pros and cons of what Elk Grove is. Now, a con for me personally would be that Elk Grove is a little bit further away from some of the other amenities that makes kind of the greater Sacramento metro really cool. By being down here on more of the southern side of Sacramento, it does tack on about an extra 20 to 30 minutes if you were going to go up to Lake Tahoe. So that's kind of one of the things. So personally, we like to do a lot more of our stuff in the mountains and the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountain ranges. So that's one of the things that makes Sacramento so awesome about this area, is that you're just close in proximity to a lot of different things, but it would tack on an extra 20 or 30 minutes to that drive if you're trying to do a day trip. So that's my con. I mean, that's probably not a huge deal for a lot of people, but you know, that's another thing that you want to keep in mind. So the biggest reason why we do these videos is to make sure that you know the area of what you're potentially looking at when you're thinking about moving here, and if that area is going to be close in proximity. So if you're living in Elk Grove, but you've got to work up in Roseville, that may be a big deal that you don't want to do. So stick around, because the next city that we're going to cover is the most requested city that you guys had for us in 2023. All right, so the #1 requested city by you guys in 2023, or at least the city that you guys reach out to us the most about, is going to be Folsom, California, where we're located right now. So it's cold. You know, we're out here down off of Sutter Street. It's a little bit mucky of the weather, but you know, we're out here. We wanted to show you a little bit of the town, talk about a little bit about where it's located at, and give you a little bit of our pro and con for today, because today was definitely a doozy as we were out here trying to film. So Folsom is going to be located about 20 to 30 minutes east of Sacramento. It's going to be primarily up Highway 50. You're going to have about 3 exits that are going to take you through different parts of Folsom. You're going to have Folsom Auburn, you're going to have Prairie City Road, and you're going to have East Bidwell before you actually head up towards the next city, which is the city that we covered at the very beginning of this. Now, a lot of times when you guys reach out to us, Folsom tends to be the #1 area that you guys reach out to us. There's a lot of different pros and a lot of different cons that we've covered in the videos over 2023 that talk about why Folsom is such a great city to live in. One of our favorite pros about Folsom, even though the weather doesn't look like it today, is actually some of the nature that you actually get to experience. So, you know, we're down here off of Sutter Street. We're not too far away from Lake Natoma, which is one of our favorite places to actually go out to and experience like paddle boarding. You can do kayaking down there. It's a very chill lake. You got about 12 miles worth of trails that go around the lake from Sutter Street all the way down to the Hazel exit. You got a lot of fun activities that you can do with the family. I spent a lot of my 20s down here on Sutter Street, where we used to go down. We used to go bar hopping here. So a lot of fun things that you can do. Where we're at, next to Scott's Seafood and the ice skating rink behind us, you know, usually they have different summer concert series in the summertime, but Folsom is just one of those areas where you have a ton of fun things that you can do as it relates to different things in this area.
All right, so my con for Folsom is definitely gonna be the way the streets are set up here. So in Folsom, the streets are not really set up like a grid-like fashion. You can have a street that goes up and around and loops and comes back down. It's really confusing. I tend to get lost in Folsom a lot if I don't have my navigation turned on, and it's just really confusing. Sometimes when I'm on my way out to Folsom High School for different sporting events for my kiddos, I feel like I have to go in a completely opposite direction just to actually end up at Folsom High School, because the road will go up and loop around and then come back down by Folsom High School. So I don't really like the way the streets are set up. It's really confusing to me. So that would be my con for Folsom.
Yeah, you have a lot of different waterways, and you have a lot of just interesting topography, being that you're so close to Folsom Lake, and you've got Lake Natoma on the other side that Folsom Lake feeds into. So you have a lot of different topography that the streets and roadways are having to deal with. But my con, or the thing that I was not super happy with today, is Folsom is not very walkable. So while we were out filming, we were out in this rainy weather, we found a bolt in our tire and we had to go take it to Les Schwab. Thank you, Les Schwab of Folsom, hooking us up, able to fix the tire in under 2 hours for free. But we ended up walking to grab some lunch at one of our favorite Mediterranean restaurants. You know, weather was kind of poopy, and then you know, we walked over to Starbucks. And Folsom, you know, it's just not very walkable. It's like kind of walking a Vegas mile, where you're thinking about walking between hotel rooms and everything's about a mile to a mile and a half away. But that would be my con. Folsom, not very walkable. If you're not intending to work out, or if you're trying to avoid this rainy weather that we're dealing with right now, just not fun. But make sure that you're subscribed to our channel, because this year we are going to be doing a more in-depth video tour of each of these 7 suburbs that we just talked about today. We're also going to be doing some surprise suburbs that we haven't talked about before on this channel. So if you're curious about any of those 7 suburbs that we just took you to, Roseville, Folsom, El Dorado Hills, Granite Bay, Elk Grove, Lincoln, or even Folsom where we're at right now, that phone number is going to be popping up on the screen. We are the ones that answer every phone call, email, and text message, and we absolutely love it when you guys reach out to us.
Or better yet, there's going to be a QR code popping up. So you can scan this QR code and book that one-on-one Zoom call so that way we can help with your move to the greater Sacramento area.